Good evening, Adab, Namaskar, and Sat Sri Akal. Welcome back once again to the third season of Inspirational Success Stories, where we invite eight fabulous females every night at 8 p.m. from 1st to 8th of March. What's the purpose? Well, we are celebrating upcoming International Women's Day, and I'm super excited to bring to you tonight an amazing personality who's been one of the top 25 speakers globally. Well, there's lots more to learn about her, and I'll give a pause about this personality right now. Because for all those who are meeting me for the first time, let me quickly tell you who am I. I'm Sandeep Bogra, a life and relationship coach, founder someone you need. And coming back to this pole star, yes, this wonderful personality. She is one of the top 25 speakers, pan India, amazing with her spoken English and personality development skills, which she has taught to thousands of students worldwide. And here's Shilpa Srinivas joining us tonight, all the way from Karnataka. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause. Welcome, Shilpa.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
I'm sure you deserve it and lots more. And I'm so happy with all my love and gratitude coming from my heart that you've joined us at such a short notice, especially when you're so occupied with not just the students worldwide whom you're teaching with those amazing skills, but definitely with the board exams of your own son. So nothing can express it more in terms of your dedication, your commitment, and your willingness to spread light around. Thank you once again and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled by your words. There is always a pause, but no stop, right? So life keeps moving on, and you just have to go with the flow. I'm here, and I have to be very grateful to you for inviting me today. And you have been one of my very good well-wisher, very warm friend. So to whom I can never say no. Thank you so much. I love being here. It's my pleasure.
It's a pleasure and a blessing indeed. Lovely. So, Shilpa, for all the world, I've already shared that you are one of the top 25 speakers pan India, and we'll come more about it. But let's understand what exactly got you into this field and share something about your journey tonight.
All right. My journey, I mean, to start with, I'm a very girl next door kind of character, very simple, ordinary girl coming from a middle class background. Everything was very simple, very ordinary about me. But from the beginning, from my childhood, I had this passion of connecting with people, helping them out, reaching out to them. And I always wanted to, be in the forefront, coming on stage or being in the spotlight, being in the limelight intoxicated me in so many ways. So that was one thing which introduced me to this training industry. I was actually in UK, London, well settled, had a government job there, a wonderful life, nothing more which I could ask for. But then destiny brought me back to India, and I was introduced to this training industry by my mentor. That is where I found that connection, I found that fulfillment, and I started traveling across India. I started impacting thousands of people from all streams, and that could not equate to any amount of money. That was when I decided that this is going to be my final pit stop. I'm not going to, alter from here, change from here. I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to go deep into it and give my best of what I can. And destiny took me to various levels. And during the COVID, thanks to pandemic, I started on my own, the Self Academy, and we picked up the niche of spoken English and personality development. And I have to be ever grateful to the Almighty that I've been able to reach out to thousands of people across the globe, as you mentioned in your introduction, in a very short span of time. So, my passion is to get connected to people and to help them out. So, I think I'm in the right space and I want to give my best going ahead.
Well, I'm sure you're doing your best and goes without saying because all those accolades which have come your way in the recent past few years, speaks wonder of yourself. Well,
Thank you.
I remember we also got connected during COVID times, and it's been always so inspirational whenever I speak with you around whatever things around in life, irrespective of whether it's work or life in general. It's always easy and quite welcoming from your side to connect with you. And as you
Same
said,
here.
you've been pretty ordinary. Uh, I must say that the best thing about extraordinary people is that they always seem and present themselves to be ordinary. So
Oh,
undoubtedly, you're the extraordinary one out here.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Likewise, I have same feelings about you, Sandeep. I mean, we connected, and yes, as you rightly said, you seemed ordinary, and you're doing extraordinary jobs. So it was very nice having a conversation with you, and we immediately connected on being two ordinary individuals.
Indeed,
Right.
awesome, right? So when you say this journey started in a way that you really wanted to be on stage and impact lives, so what specifically got you into spoken English and personality development? Maybe there was some need or gap you found in the market or people's lives that
Hmm.
attracted you towards it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question in my journey, in fact. When I ask myself about the same question, well, one answer I give to myself is yes, I was in this training industry for 10 years, and I was into various other training modules. But then there was this one opportunity which I got from Impact Foundation in Hyderabad, where they have around a million plus subscribers. So my mentor there, he suggested me to go live on a talk show during a prime time slot on a Saturday evening like this. And he asked me, what are you going to talk about? There are so many people, who can talk about personality development programs or soft skills. What is it that you want to talk about? I said, just that was a momentary thought which came to me. I said, I want to talk about English language skill development because there is no dearth of talent in India. Absolutely, we are extremely talented, but there is a serious communication barrier. People are not able to establish themselves globally, some of them because of this language barrier. So I would like to reach out to people on that platform, and I want to talk about English development. And I did some research, and I just gave a talk show on learn English without grammar. I couldn't believe when it went viral, and there were so many calls and messages coming back to me, ma'am, can you teach us English without grammar? Is that really possible? Is it so easy to learn English and all that stuff? So that is where I picked up on this niche that I'm going to touch this subject where it gets me connected to so many people who are in need of it, and I'll combine with personality development programs. And we at Self Academy started giving English in a very different way. Like we teach them English in a very psychological way, in a very scientific way. So we have our own approach. And thanks to both of our mentors, Tony Robbins, the ultimate. So there isn't a day where I do not thank him enough and I don't remember him. So I've brought in his ideologies, his methodologies, and I keep inculcating that to my courses. That's how it has been designed. So this niche was created based on the need which came to me from the viewers, and I did not pick it up. And that's how it became a hit because this was something very different which people got. Generally, when students come to me and tell me that I have gone to many institutes where they teach so much of grammar and they burden us with rules, but at the end of the day, I'm still not able to speak fluently. I was able to connect to that because I also studied in a school where most of the times English was taught in a vernacular language. It wasn't taught in English. So I devised my own methodologies to become fluent in English, or to learn the language better, to get a hold on the language. So I started adopting the same, and it gave very good results. I'm so thankful to all my participants who are having phenomenal results. And that's how I started working on spoken English and personality development. It was not actually planned, well planned, or it wasn't that I thought about a lot and then I picked up on my niche. It organically happened to me.
And some things, when they happen naturally, well, they happen the best way possible. So,
Yes,
just the way you found that gap or the pain points people had in their lives, and that
yes,
is what you precisely solved with your own precision and that unique approach. In fact, when you shared this idea with me for the first time, I remember,
yes,
teaching English without grammar. So I was also, quite intrigued by it and excited simultaneously, wondering how
Okay.
it's really possible. But then I
Okay.
realized that, at times when we see in English countries or maybe French countries how kids learn English or French by default, they have no
Right.
idea about grammar or anything for that matter. But
Exactly.
that's how we've learned Hindi, if that is our mother tongue or any other local language in any part of the country.
Absolutely. Exactly. So we teach on the same principles. The way you learn your mother tongue, you get introduced to the language first during the childhood. And then when you go to school, you are introduced to grammar, and grammar comes along the way.
Right.
It gets embedded in your subconscious mind once you're comfortable with the language. And it's the same way it happens with English.
So I'm sure you have a lot of success with people, but there must be a few things which you definitely guide everyone when they want to learn English as a language. So what are those top three things, if I may ask?
Okay. Well, we have certain techniques. We first understand their pain points, and we address them with some smart techniques, and we give them immediate solutions, so that the only thing to achieve anything in life is confidence, right?
Absolutely.
So once you give that dose of confidence to your participants or to people who are in need of it, immediately they get very comfortable with the idea of learning English. So number one, we remove the hesitation and fear out of them. English is just another language, just like Hindi or Kannada or Telugu, and it's much more simpler. It's not difficult at all. And when you have learned your mother tongue, and on an average, every Indian can speak 2 to 3 languages, any Indian, right? So if you can do that, then English is one of the easiest language. So we remove that hesitation, we remove that fear by making them feel that it is a very simplistic language. It's easy to learn. And then we introduce the techniques, like how not to translate from your mother tongue, right? It is very obvious that people tend to generally translate from their mother tongue because English is not their first language. English is our second language, right? So how not to do that, and how to apply thinking in English principle, and we teach them the techniques to do that. So the moment their fear is gone, the moment they understand that you do not have to translate from mother tongue. So if you're not supposed to do that, what to do next? Think in English. These three principles, we start working on them immediately, and they get results very quickly. That's all people want these days. They cannot spend an entire year or too much of time on learning something new, which is very essential, which is the need of the hour. It has to be quick, it has to be smart, it has to yield results immediately. So that's what we adopted Self Academy. And yes, people are getting hugely benefited by it. I have so many success stories, and I'm amazed to hear them speak with so much of confidence. And I feel extremely proud about all my students, who are so dedicated. So these are the three things we firstly start with. Of course, there are many more, but to
Of course.
start with, in the basic level, we do this.
Because I asked this thing on purpose, as many people have this fear of, you know, spoken English in particular, and
Right.
the place where they get confused is how to get started. Number one,
Hmm.
where to practice, because apparently nobody else is speaking English back home. Number two,
Hmm.
and number three, how to traverse this journey in terms of techniques or grammar and whatnot. So they really
Right.
need that kind of confidence and push in the start, which is
Right.
something you precisely give.
Yes, right. That is most required, because the moment you gain that confidence, you have that self esteem that you can achieve it, and you come out of that inferiority complex. Because I keep telling my students, only in India we have this mindset that people who speak in English very fluently are considered to be automatically intelligent. you know they might or might not be, you never know, but they are considered to be intelligent the moment they start speaking in English. So they need to come out of this mindset, and they should not feel inferior about not learning this language, because there are so many other languages which we cannot speak. For example, I cannot speak Marathi or Gujarati, or maybe you cannot speak Tamil or Malayalam. There are so many other languages which we cannot speak. Do we feel inferior
Correct.
about it? Not at all. So why this mindset about English? So we need to identify the root cause of this fear and hesitation, remove it, and then start building on the confidence. Language just comes along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, If you get those kind of teachers and mentors on the way, the journey becomes easy, is what I personally feel.
Rightly said.
Just like I'm still connected with all my teachers literally since childhood, class one, and
Uh-huh.
I'm blessed. One of our teachers from school has joined us live with his blessings, and
Wow.
Ravi sir says, a successful woman is one who can build a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at her.
Wow. So
And
nicely said,
that
Ravi.
and that brings me to the next question, which I wanted to ask around is, definitely there must have been certain challenges or obstacles your way when you got
Hmm.
started. So what
Hmm.
were those and how did you overcome them?
Okay. I think this is one of the most common question a woman entrepreneur must be asked. But by God's grace, I'm very fortunate to say I didn't face too many obstacles because I had a very good support system, at my home, and even to this day, including my children, my in-laws, and in a huge way, my husband, who has been always my best friend, has been supporting me in each and every cause of mine. So he was the one, who motivated me, who inspired me to start this, and he's always been by my side. So he is they say every behind every man's success there is a woman, but behind this woman's success there is this man who's like a pillar of strength to me. So I have to be very grateful to God. Otherwise, it would have been, a really tough journey, a very hard journey. If your support system is not strong enough back home, it's really tough. I'm very fortunate to have that. And that is the way, we have raised our children as well. It's not very essential for them to to make them dependent on you all the time. I have a small daughter who is considered generally dependent at her age. She's just 7 years old, but then we've raised her in a very independent way. She knows that she has a working mom and she needs to be independent on certain areas, and she's a very good decision maker. So it's the kind of messages you feed to your family which gives you your space, and you can build that kind of support system even otherwise, even if you do not have. So I would definitely tell women who are facing some obstacles in their growth, in their career journey, it's very important to mark that boundary or to ask for help, to clearly talk about what you need and what is your space and how are you going to describe it in a very initial stage, and definitely people will understand. If not quite at the beginning, over a period of time, if you give them some time, they will understand. But as women, what generally we do is we do not ask for it. We do not openly talk about it. We do not discuss about such things in the family. And if we just expect people to understand, if we just expect people to support us, that wouldn't happen, right? So ask for it is what I would say, which I did from the beginning. And I was always very clear about my decisions and what I want to do and how I am going to be. And that's what made my journey very easy, I would say. Thank you.
Wow. So we have another school teacher from my school time, Ma'am Kiran. She says, your efforts of introducing great women are always appreciated. So that actually goes for the one who's right there. I'm grateful to speak with all the way from Karnataka today. All the great inspiring women on this journey who are always welcome and share their gold nuggets with the world
Mhm.
around and inspires us all. We
Yeah.
have Jagdish sir, he's CRPF retired, one of the amazing servicemen we are in
Wow.
touch with as a family.
Wow.
He always joins us. It's the third season this year, and
Uh-huh.
blessed to have such lovely audience around. Thank you so much.
Yes, I totally agree with you. You've got such esteemed people around you. It is such an honor to be connected with your teachers. They are the gurus who guided us, and you are still in touch with them. That is such a superb quality of yours.
I'm blessed.
Really.
Great. So, all those efforts and overcoming all those challenges rather before they appeared by creating those boundaries and definitely having that pillar of support in your life, your husband, um, you made a mark for yourself in the industry and the world knows it. So before I ask you something more about it, let me read it for the people around. You've been chosen as one of the top 25 speakers, and that too out of 41,000 people who participated in that national speaker reality shows organized by Success Gyan India. You've got already over a decade experience in the UK, trained over 10,000 people in spoken English, personality development, not just within India but across the globe. Proud recipient of Diamond Nari Award 2022 and Karnataka Seva Ratna Award 2023. The list goes on and on with being featured in all the various national and international publications, having been participated in Josh Talks, and I will pretty sure there are more which I just missed out somehow. So this
Thank you
journey
so
has
much.
been, yeah,
Yeah, well, just to add to whatever you spoke, yeah, it hasn't been easy though. Of course, not talking about obstacles. Well, I have a very strong support system, which was why I was able to, come and sit here with you or come to this position. But of course, as a woman, you will have a lot of things. You have to fill a lot of shoes. You have to balance your life perfectly. You have to overcome a lot of challenges. But even as a kid, I used to love taking up challenges. I used to love to enter areas where I found it difficult or uncomfortable for me. I used to try that first. So, probably that attitude of mine also helped me to come ahead. But of course, there were situations where, I had this self doubt, and I could not perfectly balance everything. I was not able to give the I was not available to some people. I was not able to give that time when needed and all that. But later in this journey, I realized it's not important for you to be perfect. You don't have to strive, you don't have to get stressed that you have to be perfect. It's okay not to be perfect, but the only thing which matters is you should never stop. You should continue doing whatever you are doing, with a pause, of course, but never a stop button. And I strongly believe in this principle, and I've been doing this. Maybe I still have so much more to achieve. I'm still not at the top. Maybe I'm not still as successful as so many others are who started out with me. But I'm happy that I am here and I have everybody's support, and it's so fulfilling, and I've never stopped for any such reason. I'm continuing in this journey with the same grit, with the same enthusiasm, and that perseverance is there. So that's totally satisfying for me.
I'm pretty sure that's what makes an ordinary person like you extraordinary.
Oh, I
Trust me.
wish that someday I will be extraordinary, Sandeep. Yes, I wish to.
Well, that's how the world sees you already.
Thank you.
In fact, you remind me of two things out here I'd like to share. Number one, perfectionism is a myth, as they always say, but rarely people believe or follow. But the ones who follow make the most of it.
Right,
And number two, comparison compromises your capability. So
right,
avoid comparing oneself to others.
right.
Because I feel
Exactly,
all of us are running in our own time zone.
exactly.
Just like the solar system, every planet revolves around the sun in their own
Yes,
orbit, in their own time zone, at their own speed. Now, what
yes.
if all the planets start comparing with each other? I'm sure
Right.
there's going to be havoc in the solar system around us.
Yes. Well said.
So, out of all these things which I've super excited to share with the world, all these accolades, which one you feel made you most proud, and what really took in terms of efforts or preparation or that deliverable which got you at the top out there?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Well, I would definitely not say the proudest moment has been the award which I've received or coming in the top 25 or being featured in the Josh Talks. No. Yes, of course, these are the steps in my journey, in moving forward. But the proudest achievement has been that of my students, who were, there are so many success stories. Well, if you allow me to share one or two,
Of course,
like,
the stage
uh,
is all
uh,
yours.
yeah, so we had this one lady who was a housewife, and she was the wife of a director of a very, flourishing company. She was not accompanying her husband in any of the office parties or get togethers just because she was not able to speak in English. She joined our academy, and I just told her that one promise from our self academy is you do not have to go and keep joining some other institutes again for English. You've come here, this is the final pit stop. I'll make sure you're going to overcome all that hesitation and barriers you have. And today she's so proud, and she comes and joins any level course which I have created, because she has ultimately found that confidence, and she attends every other office party of her husband. She has went on and met the MD of that company, and she has had a conversation with him. They are all extremely proud of her. We've never seen you before, and now you're coming, and we are so happy to have you amongst us. So that those kind of comments which comes from my students, these are my proudest achievements. And I have government teachers. We have a principle in our self academy that in every batch we offer free courses to government teachers and to farmers children. We do not charge them anything. So
Proud of
these
you.
are people. Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's our duty to contribute in a little way to the society.
Absolutely.
So these are the people who make a huge impact. The government teachers, with the meager salary they get, the kind of impact they make on the lives of the children. So many times the students are not even ready to come to the school, so they go and persuade the parents, and they bring the children to the school. They make them learn, and upon all these things, they face numerous challenges, and they have been playing my videos there to teach the students English in an inspiring way. They have been adopting this methodology of teaching English without grammar there, and it's been working wonders. So when they share such videos with me, ma'am, see, we are adopting your techniques, and we are teaching children like this. And when I see the story of such housewives, and I have housewives from Singapore or working professionals from Singapore, one such lady, who was living in a cocoon, who was not ready to come out and mingle with people, has today joined the Toastmasters Club of Singapore. She's got
Wow.
so much of confidence in speaking. So we have many such stories. I have a scientist from Korea, who was not able to communicate with his project manager. He was not able to, send the report and all such things. In spite of doing his PhD, he is now waiting for his promotion which is due, and he's been chosen for that. So when he writes to me about all such accomplishments, these are my proudest achievements, Sandeep. There are so many to share like that. So I think when my students come back to me saying that our purpose has been met, and today we are leading a new life, we have come out of our cocoon, I think nothing can match that.
Absolutely. I mean, I can so well resonate with you, and the world is so proud of you. Again, great job, Shilpa ma'am. Very inspiring, says ma'am
Thank
Kiran.
you, Kiran, ma'am. Thank you, Kiran. It's an honor coming from you.
Because, at the end of the day, as trainers, as coaches, or the ones in this industry have a simple intent to touch and transform lives and, get those
Truly,
breakthroughs. And the moment
truly.
you realize that happening in one of your students' life, there's
Yes,
nothing more proud moment, as we say.
absolutely.
But then you've been a role model for many people around in terms of getting those breakthroughs and literally people rediscovering themselves, getting their own inner potential explored in new ways, which was literally unknown to them since yesteryears. Going on those lines, what kind of words of wisdom or typical advice you would suggest to any other aspiring woman entrepreneur?
Okay. Well, that's again an interesting question. Well, as a woman, or especially as a woman entrepreneur, it's very important for you to have clarity about yourself. And to have that, you need to love yourself. You can't be so critical. Well, that's one thing which I regret about me in the past. Well, I used to be very critical about myself, all the time, uh, feeding my mind with a lot of negative thoughts about myself. But then over a period of time, I've overcome that and I've understood that's not the best way. So, my advice to the upcoming women entrepreneurs, especially, would be you need a lot of self love. You need to love yourself. You need to care for yourself, especially the physical care and the emotional care. When you're strong from within and when you're strong physically, automatically you will gain that clarity, and nobody can tell you what you have to do. You will get that from within. You will get the calling from within and you can follow your heart. But without having that self love, you will not get that clarity. Without having that emotional care for yourself, it can be, as simple as spending time with yourself, caring for your emotional needs, journaling what you feel about. Is this the right thing I'm doing or not? Or what are the things which will actually excite me? What are the things which actually frustrates me? When you write down things, it gives you so much of clarity. Well, that is my personal experience, because uh, when you have absolute clarity, like where you need to take a break, where you need to change path, it's not just enough that you have to be tough. Yes, every woman is tough. That comes from within. It's also important for you to care for yourself. Not just be very harsh on yourself all the time. As I told you, like I was striving to be perfect, or, I was being very self critical of myself. As important as it is to be tough, you have to care for the emotions you're feeling, and you have to have that physical care for yourself. Take care of your body very well, be fit, exercise every day, sweat it out. And the emotional care, in terms of, small things. If you just want to spend some time with yourself, sipping your coffee or sipping your green tea and listening to some soft music, which is going to soothe in your mind, which is going to be a stress buster for you, please do it. Do not, you know, just be running from pillar to post thinking that I have to finish this, I have to do this. Just don't be so harsh on yourself, because you will lose clarity on what you have to do and where you're going. So have that self care. As a woman, it's very, very necessary for you to have that. And definitely it's going to be helpful even as an entrepreneur in your journey. Because once you have that clarity by putting down things on paper, by journaling, you will know your path. Like your decisions will automatically come to you. There might be 100 things where people tell you do this, do that. Ultimately you will follow your heart. You will not listen to anybody. You will listen to everybody's suggestions, but you will follow your heart. For you to follow your heart and for you to have that clarity, you need to care about yourself. You need to have that, in-depth love for yourself. Start loving yourself as you are. Treat yourself like a queen before expecting others to treat you like that. It's very easy to expect people should treat me like this, he should treat me, they should treat me. But can you treat yourself like a queen? Can you care for yourself? Can you prioritize yourself? Can you love yourself? Can you understand yourself very clearly? Ask these questions to yourself and see what you can do about it. What is the first step? Maybe every woman should start off with meditation in the morning. Take some time out from the busy schedule, start off early, start meditating for a few minutes, take care of your, emotional well-being. Give some time for yourself. It need not be always pampering yourself, going for shopping, not such things. Of course, materialistic things are always there, but then spending time with yourself. And when you really need to, do not run behind things. No, 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 I have to finish it off. I have to do this today. There's no way I'm going to delay it. As I told you earlier, don't run behind perfection. It's okay to have little flaws. It's okay to be humane, right? But it's important for you to care for yourself and love yourself and respect your body, respect your mind. Automatically people surrounding you will recognize that fact in you, and they will connect to your emotions, they will connect to your feelings, they will automatically care for your time, they will care for your physical well-being. and they will start respecting you. That's what I would love to say. Of course, there are many, many suggestions which people can give. As I told you, I'm a very ordinary person, so I do not want to give some, out of the blue suggestions. This is what I followed, and this is what I truly believe in.
Well, I guess nobody gave a better explanation, and not merely an explanation, but insight and action one needs to take in order to experience self love. Because um, while it has always been there in its own unique ways, but in today's world, people really hear a lot about self love and yet get confused about how to experience it for themselves. Which
Yes.
reminds me of one of the videos I made long ago. And last year, when I was a guest speaker on Women's Day at some institute, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a group of around 100 housewives. So the moment we
Wow.
spoke about self love, they asked me, "What do you mean by self love or prioritizing oneself?" And in their own world, I gave them the simplest example that what is the
Hmm.
typical question you ask everyone around at your home every new day? And the answer was pretty simple. What would you like to eat in lunch or dinner? And that's typically something a homemaker, a housewife will ask everyone around, their husband, the
Right.
parents, or the kids around. And I asked
Right.
them, for once till date in your life,
Hmm.
have you ever thought of what is it that you would like to eat today and make it for yourself?
Wow. Exactly.
If it's
It's
the
like.
simplest thing you can, if it's the simplest thing you can't think for yourself, like you would
Hmm.
also love to taste something, or what is to your liking, let it be cooked today and everyone else rejoice, then just fulfilling everyone else's choices or needs all around.
Exactly, exactly. It's normalized in our society to feel guilty if you are loving yourself, if you're being selfish. So that probably has to be, slowly eradicated from the society. It's a stuff because women themselves, they believe that they have to feel guilty if they have to be selfish, if they have to give them time for themselves. अगर शादी हो गया तो घूमने के लिए जा रही है, अरे अभी क्या जरूरत है घूमने जाने का, बच्चा हो गया तो अभी पार्टी में जाना, अभी क्या जरूरत है. So they get affected by such, I would say, not just negative but toxic comments of the society, and they feel very guilty for spending time doing what they love. And self love is all about it. I strongly believe even at 60s and 70s, you need to go on a girls' trip, all women's trip. You need to spend some time with your girlfriends, with women folk. And if that's what gives you that relaxation, if that's what makes you happy, please do it and do not feel guilty about it. And just as you rightly asked them, it's so normal for a woman to ask, prioritize others, like, what do you like to have for dinner? And self love is not vanity, it's sanity. That's what a saying goes. So they have to understand, it's not like, it's a wrong attitude or you are arrogant to have that self love. It's okay to ask yourself, what do you like to have, and prepare that, and just enjoy having the dish for yourself, right? Yes, it has to start from every homemaker in our house, from every mother in the house, because it comes very naturally for a woman to be a giver. Women are naturally made to make anything very beautiful or improvised version of what is given to them. You give a woman groceries and
Right.
vegetables, she'll cook food for you. So you give her a house, she will make a home out of it. So it is there in a woman naturally to improvise whatever has been given to her. So that is definitely okay, but at the same time, you also need to, have that self love and prioritize yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about talking about what you like to do. And just be clear, have a discussion with your family. It's important to, feed these kind of things to your family, be it your husband, your partner, your kids, your in-laws. They are going to understand. But you know what, as soon as a girl gets married, in the initial days of her marriage, almost every other woman tries to adjust and adapt to the changing environment there, not prioritizing her wills, her desires, and not asking for people to, adjust and accommodate her as well. So you need not change yourself completely for others. If you are what you are from the beginning, of course, be adaptable, be flexible. But at the same time, you have to value your principles and stick to it and be rigid on certain things, what you value the most. So when you demarcate that very clearly in the beginning, then people will obviously understand. So please do not feel guilty to prioritize yourself. Do not feel guilty to do things that you desire. क्योंकि अभी देखो जनरली फॉर होम मेकर्स स्पेशली दे डू नॉट हैव एनी de-stressing element at all, at least for working women, for professional women, when they go out, they have this chai ka time, or they just go out with their friends, or they have this outings, company outings and all that. Little bit of relaxation at least they'll get. But for homemakers especially, they don't have a regular schedule, they cannot work in a professional way, and they do not have this de-stressing elements at all. Obviously they will feel very low self esteem, and they'll feel we are of no use. Of course we are not earning enough, because again respect is directly proportional to money, right? That kind of attitude again has to be removed slowly from the society. Respecting for time, like your mother, if she's a homemaker, she's available to you whenever you need her. So you have to respect her time. You respect cannot be equated to finance or money all the time. So that has to be made aware of among kids, among family. When you start respecting yourself, then automatically the family will respect you. When you yourself feel very down, I'm not earning anything, I'm just a homemaker, this is one thing which I like to underline. Please never ever use this, I'm just a homemaker. It's a 24 bar 7 job, one of the toughest job, one of the most challenging job, and you never get paid for it. Of course it is paid in the form of love, but sometimes money becomes more important than anything else to satisfy your materialistic needs especially, right? So try and define respect in other ways: your availability, your time, and the way you give suggestions, the way you're there to understand their problems, right? You have to be respected for all these things, which a working woman or a professional woman cannot give. So never ever feel bogged down that I'm just a homemaker. That is one of the toughest job. If you have to replace yourself, it is so difficult. Probably you will have to find 8 other women doing your job. So you're fulfilling the job of all those 8 women. You're doing such a wonderful job. Treat yourself like a queen. Give yourself some time and love yourself. Never ever feel guilty for loving yourself. Yeah, pamper yourself, appreciate yourself. Well, when I do something, I tell my community as well, when you do a wonderful job, self appreciate, pat your back. You've done such a wonderful job. Do not keep expecting others to appreciate. Sometimes they understand, sometimes they don't. Sometimes, even if they want to, they don't have the time to do it, or they're not outspoken to do it. There might be various reasons for it. Rather than expecting and feeling depressed about it, it's okay. Self appreciate, celebrate yourself, celebrate your life every day. It is possible to live like that. And you just have to make it a part of your system, because you're not aware of it, because nobody has taught you, and because you've been always fed with the data that you need to be there for everything, for everybody. You feel guilty if you're not there for some people at some time. It's not important to always be there. You have to let it go. They can be independent. Your kids, your husband, your in-laws, everybody, they can be independent. Just that you have to make a start somewhere. Okay, don't keep waiting for the right moment, and don't keep waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Only you can do it.
I'm sure if the world hears this video and watches it on a repeat mode over and over again every new day, the realization of self love will automatically become implementation for themselves, because it's your mindset where everything originates and flourishes. And the way
Exactly.
you've implanted those seeds for that new journey, the new wave every homemaker should embark upon, because they are not just a homemaker, they are the homemaker, and that is what differentiates them from everyone else.
Exactly. Well said.
Just like you've differentiated and distinguished yourself from the world around with all those efforts you put in all these years, all those
Excuse me.
achievements coming your way and more. We are so happy, grateful, delighted, and privileged to have you on this show today. And before we bring it to a close, I would just like to ask you to describe yourself in just one word.
Wow, that's a very creative question, I must say. One word, I would say unstoppable.
Wow.
Come what may, you can give me whatever you want. Nothing can deter me from my goal. Nothing can stop me. And as I told you, I might take a pause, but I'll never stop. I am the unstoppable. That's what I've realized in my journey.
That's my favorite song, my ringtone, my alarm tone, the song Unstoppable by Sia. And
Oh, okay.
precisely, you are the unstoppable, as you rightly mentioned, because the way I have seen your journey and the way you've been on that growth trajectory, trust it's praiseworthy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're being very kind, but I will live up to your words one day, Sandeep. Thank you so much. It was an honor being on your talk show, and you've been such a great human being, such a humble human being, in fact. I've seen your journey, and I'm fortunate for having met you. And you've received so many accolades and awards, and you're having a great relationship with your family, which matters the most. Professionally, there are so many conquerors out there, but still, unsuccessful in their personal lives and their relationships. But you have maintained a perfect balance of both, and I'm so proud about it. So I'm so happy associated with you. Thank you so much for inviting me on this chat show, and it's always a privilege to come back. Thank you.
The pleasure is all ours, and the audience rejoiced it for sure. And I'll invite this lovely audience one more time tomorrow night, 8 p.m., while we join a special guest all the way from USA. Lots more
Wow.
to come, and the journey has just yet begun. So, as Mr. Amitabh Bachchan says, good night, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, and do take very good care of yourself. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.